Good afternoon. Good to see everyone. We just wanted to take a few moments to touch base during camp. George and I haven't had an opportunity to talk with you, but just to really to say thank you for everything that you all have done during camp. It's been a good camp so far. We're excited about the season. We have a lot of good things ahead of us, and I'll open it up for questions, but one of the things I do want to start with is that we are still extremely focused on Arlington Heights, on building our stadium there. That's the plan. We strongly believe that is the only location in Cook County that will allow us to build a stadium, the new Chicago Bears stadium with a fixed roof. We're making great progress. We are now in the process of having weekly meetings with the leaders at the Village of Arlington Heights on a weekly basis. So those meetings are going well. We've been meeting every week here for the last couple of months and making excellent progress. The plan still is to proceed forward this year and hopefully receive a positive vote in a fall veto session from the Illinois state government to allow us to proceed forward with our project. The biggest item that remains, that has remained, is the fact of this mega project bill that was on the docket in the spring, but it was not put forth for a vote. But it's very important that passes, because without that legislation, we're not able to proceed forward. We stand ready. The stadium is designed, like I said, we're meeting weekly with the village, and it's been good to work with Mayor Tenalia. And the biggest issue that we have to realize, there's been some conversation that people have said this is a Chicago Bears bill. Would the Bears benefit from this mega project, property tax bill from a property tax standpoint? Absolutely. But this is a jobs bill. And in the climate that we're in from an economic standpoint, locally, but also from a national standpoint, but especially here in the state of Illinois, people need to be put to work. And you're talking about this stadium project would create over 56,000 permanent jobs. 56,000 construction jobs, 9,100 permanent jobs that it would create. So you're talking about putting people to work. So this is an economic bill that would give people jobs, allow them to work, to get to work. Yes, the Bears would benefit from it, but it's much more than the Bears benefiting from this bill. The entire state of Illinois would benefit from it. There are some certain guardrails in it. You have to make a commitment. This is a commitment that you have to be in that location for 20 years. And these are big projects ranging from $100 million to $500 million. And it not only would benefit people here in the city of Chicago and surrounding areas in Cook County and Arlington Heights, but also all across our state. And we need to make sure that we put people to work. So that's been something that I just want to make it very clear on. We've had some fantastic meetings recently with labor and some strong meetings there. They're supportive of this bill because it's a jobs bill. And as I said, when you start creating over 56,000 jobs on a construction standpoint and 9,100 on a temporary basis that turn into be permanent jobs, long term over 9,000 jobs, that is a serious positive opportunity. So with that, I know there are a lot of other questions that you may have regarding business, football, stadium, and I would open up the floor, but I wanted to make sure we spent some time giving you an update where we are in our stadium.
So if the bill passes, what's the timeline look like? When do you expect to break ground if you do get that bill passed?
Yeah, we're ready. We're ready now. Everything is in order. And so if that bill passes in October, there are other items that we have to work on, and obviously there's a process that we have to follow with the Village of Arlington Heights from an approval process, but obviously they're committed. And so the goal would still be in a position to move dirt this year. There's some work, some initial work that needs to be done to get the site ready and to break ground, hopefully next year formally, but to actually move dirt this year and to be ready to play in our new stadium.
And the
But
stadium,
aren't you having issues though with the weather conditions once you get past October?
No. One thing that from a construction standpoint in Minnesota, we actually broke ground in December. And so there's no issues from a weather conditioning standpoint. And these construction companies are so skilled, they know what needs to be done from a timing standpoint. So this is somewhat similar by breaking ground, in December that we had in Minnesota, and we were able to get the stadium built, US Bank Stadium built in 30 months.
And you said the stadium's designed, like you guys are fully set on the design and everything, all of that is approved and ready to go?
Yeah, the design, we have David Manica, who we worked with us, who's done a fantastic job. As you know, we're in the market now from an RFP standpoint to hire an architect of record who will work with David Manica. We have some talented individuals who are participating in that RFP, and then we'll go to RFP from a construction manager standpoint. But as far as the initial design, things are in order. Things look great. We spent a lot of time, building that. And so that's one of the reasons why we did that, would be for us to be prepared to be able to move forward with the project.
Kevin, you guys
Yes.
have had Ben Johnson in your building now for about 7 months, I think. What has he brought to the building, the practice field?
Coach Johnson is everything that we had hoped for, everything that we had planned for, and some. His leadership, his work ethic, his positivity, but being realistic, his capabilities, and he's an excellent planner, speaker. He's diligent. He has a creative mind, as you've seen from practice. And one of the greatest attributes is that he epitomizes what the Chicago Bears stand for, just toughness and grit and attention to detail to carry forward that legacy that George Halas started and has carried through the McCaskey family. I mean, these practices are intense. And one thing that you've noticed, the intensity level. And when you are able to have intense practices at this time in training camp, what it says is that the players respect the coaches, and especially the head coach. So Coach Johnson has done an excellent job, and also I'm very pleased to see the working relationship that has occurred between Coach Johnson and Ryan Poles. So I know that's something that's been positive for everyone here in the organization.
Kevin, when you said that your sole focus is Arlington Heights, have you circled back, with anybody from the city, or your conversations only with Arlington Heights?
We've just only had conversations with Arlington Heights right now. Mayor Tenalia did come on. He and I, along with George, all of us, we've developed an excellent working relationship. What helps is also he's an architect by trade, and so he understands the dynamics of what it takes to build a building, and to be able to build this size of a building at the village of Arlington Heights is special. So he's been a great partner, and it's been good to be able to spend time with him, and his staff has been excellent too.
Can you send out a survey to season ticket
Yes.
holders, what they have to say?
They're ready for a new building. And it's amazing, the season ticket holders here, we're fortunate, we're blessed here at the Bears to have dedicated and loyal fans. But what's also happening, because they do get a chance to travel around the country, they're starting to see other stadiums to come on board to say that we in Chicago deserve something, like that. So we got some really good feedback on it. And I think one thing that this building will have, we will be able to make sure that we touch all the points as far as the things that fans want to be able to have and enjoy. And it puts us in a position now that people know to bid and hopefully host Super Bowls and Final Fours and college football games and these mega events. So that's what makes it very special. But the conjoint survey that you're referring to was very well received, and we got some excellent feedback.
When it comes to around the stadium, that's a big piece of property. What's the latest there? What's the plan around the actual stadium?
Obviously you have 326 acres. It's a mixed-use development. What makes it really unique, to our understanding, it will be the only location that actually has train transportation that will drop off right at the site with the Metro site that's there in Arlington Park. But with the support and guidance of ownership, we'll have an opportunity to do something that's incredibly transformative from a standpoint for all the residents here in Illinois and really around the country in the NFL. So you're talking about a mixed-use development, some blend of hotels, housing, restaurants, entertainment facilities to allow people to really enjoy it. It's very rare that you find 326 acres in a metropolitan city, and it served its purpose before as a racetrack, so that's what makes it exciting.
Kevin, that area, 53's got a lot of construction going on
Yep.
right now. Have you talked to IDOT and Cook County about what they have to do as far as expanding the entrances and exit ramps at Euclid?
Yeah, we're working on a traffic study. Actually, have received it, working through all the details. There will be some opportunities with IDOT to work on expanding to make sure that the ingress and egress is excellent. And that's one thing when you have the different roads that exist, the different opportunities we have to expand those roads, and also the train capability, it makes it unique. So we'll have conversations with all of the appropriate people, and not only the village of Arlington Heights, but the surrounding areas will be critically important for us to talk with them.
Kevin, has this whole stadium process getting it off the ground, has it been more challenging than you expected coming in?
Absolutely not. I mean, you think about it, that's why you build these stadiums once every 40 years. And so it's not for the faint of heart, but I've been here before. We have the best ownership, not only in the NFL, but in all the pro sports who are supportive. And this is something that, from an energy standpoint, we all gain on the energy to think that the Bears in 105 years have never had their own stadium, which is rare when you think about that. And all the events that we're missing out on, like I said, from a Super Bowl standpoint. So it's been actually exactly what I had predicted it would be for us to work together. We got a really smart group of individuals who work here at the Bears. We have great consultants. We're coming together. And when you have the support of ownership, we can do anything. So we're right on target where I thought we would be.
Mr. Warren, what have been some of the biggest points of movement in the talks of Arlington Heights that have encouraged you all to circle back to that being the main desired site?
I just think they have a willing spirit, and they understand the magnitude of a project as far as what this could do. And this is really unique. I mean, you think about there's only 32 of these assets in the world. And now to be able to build a stadium from a transformative standpoint, what it will be, just the attention. And I just think that they have a willing, smart group of individuals to be able to do. And to think the only thing that really remains is this property tax certainty, which is this will spur economic growth in the state of Illinois. And it's not only for us. I often think about the businesses who would be thinking about moving to Illinois, but who are not because of our certainty with the property tax issues, which is an issue. And still, you think about it, only 10 cranes in Chicago. 2017, it was 60. And so we need to get projects going and to be able to create jobs for people who want to go to work, and especially with the environment of the Chicago Bears.
Kevin, I know you guys were hopeful that that bill would pass in May.
Yes.
And then it didn't even come to a vote.
Yes.
I guess that's Illinois politics, but I guess what makes you more optimistic that come October, not only will it go to a vote, but it'll pass? Yeah,
I mean, and again, I have great, I would say, sensitivity for politicians, not only locally, but nationally. Those are difficult jobs. And there are a lot of things that didn't make it on the docket in the spring. I know transit is going to be an important issue that people are trying to work on. I'm hopeful that when we get to the fall veto session, that people, our legislative leaders, will recognize that time is now. I mean, you have an ownership group who's committed to leaning into the cost of the stadium. And if you just look around the country, what's going on in Buffalo, what happened in Cleveland and Washington and Tennessee, and not only in the NFL, but other sports. I mean, there's this public-private partnership, and for our ownership to step up, to lean into paying the cost for the stadium, and all we need is property tax certainty. And we're not trying to avoid paying taxes. We absolutely will pay taxes, but we want to just have certainty. And what this mega project property tax bill allows you to do is it allows a company like the Bears to negotiate with local taxing authorities, school boards, school districts, to be able to set the certain amount of taxes that should be paid. And this is what we call no cost and no obligation. This costs the state of Illinois zero, because if you're not able to negotiate the property tax between the local company and the local taxing districts, then nothing happens. And so this is not a grant, this is not a gift, this is not any transfer of money from the state of Illinois to the Chicago Bears or other businesses. This just says we're going to allow you to negotiate the property taxes, which is critically important.
Time for a couple more.
How disappointing was it, you talking about the willingness of Arlington Heights, that there wasn't more willingness in the city? Like, I think you basically did everything you could to go there and it just didn't happen.
I think there was, I mean, there's multiple levels of things that have to occur to get a deal done. You have to have, you know, a willing heart, and I would say Mayor Johnson and people in Chicago were willing, but then you have to be able to put the deal construct together to make sure it works from a financial standpoint. So it all has to come together. That's the other thing, and I'm glad you raised that question, is the city of Chicago still will benefit from having this stadium in Arlington Heights. People will stay in Chicago. So from a hotel standpoint, the hospitality industry, from a food and entertainment standpoint, all of those different things, airports, people coming in and out of town. The other thing that I think some folks have kind of overlooked, we're in the same county. I mean, Chicago and Arlington Heights are in Cook County. So it's not like we're moving to another county. This still is in the same county. So this will be a financial benefit, not only from a job standpoint for building the stadium, but also then working full time, but also just from a hospitality industry standpoint.
Kevin, we haven't
Last
talked
one, Dan.
since word of Ryan
Just a
Holt's
couple more.
extension became public. What was your decision-making process in extending Ryan, and what went into the timing?
Yeah, I mean, one thing about it, we've made it very clear what we feel about Ryan. He is a world-class leader. He's talented. He's hardworking. He has a transformative thought process, which is critically important. And just thankful to the support of George McCaskey and the entire our ownership group to be able to allow us to work that out with Ryan. And now to be able to see the relationship that Ryan and Coach Johnson have built allows us to have a chance to be able to build a really good football team and a football program with two young leaders. So we're grateful that Ryan is here as our general manager.
Kevin has so thoroughly answered all of your many questions that I can't imagine that you have any for me. But I do want to briefly thank you all for being here through training camp. And I think today was a good example. It's hot out there, it's humid, it's sweaty, you're in a competitive environment, you have limited access, and appreciate all your efforts. Everybody in training camp, we want to thank. The players are working hard, the coaches, the staff. You've seen it when you've walked that journey from remote parking. All of those kids in that parking lot, a lot of them college students or recent college graduates, they're working hard. They're passionate. They're enthusiastic. It's great. It's very gratifying to see. Tony Medlin's people hustling out there. Our training staff doing a great job, and just very, very thankful for all of their efforts and for all of your efforts. Thank you.
George?
Is Hub here?
He was. Where's he?
George,
Helen.
thank you. What is your thoughts and the family's thoughts about the stadium that you were proposed going to have built in Arlington Heights?
Well, I thought Kevin stated it very articulately. This is a world-class facility for a world-class fan base. Chicagoland deserves it. We're missing out on major events. It's a great opportunity to provide jobs, both on a temporary basis and a permanent basis. And it's a chance to attract major events to the greatest city in the world. The village of Arlington Heights would benefit, the city of Chicago would benefit, the county of Cook would benefit, and the great state of Illinois would benefit.
Kevin said the stadium's designed already. Is there anything you can tease or preview for fans on what they could expect once the stadium does get built, if it gets built? Anything you can share with us?
Not yet.
Okay.
We're still working through that process. It's been an exhaustive and detailed process. We want to have the best because our fans deserve it.
Is there any concern that it's taken this long, that you could have had this done a couple of years ago?
No, these things take time. It's on us to convince the governor and the state legislators that this is a good idea for the people of Illinois. And we need to do a better job at that. This project can be, as Kevin said, transformative. And the concern is that delay means greater expense. And it also means that we're missing out on another round of assignment of major events. We need to get in the mix.
George, you told us in April when we talked about the succession plan that Virginia had set up for the family, for the organization, that the real emphasis was you have to stick together as a family. Like, how, months later, where do things stand as far as moving forward with, I guess, with ownership and heeding to that plan?
Yeah, we're together. I said then, she gave us the game plan. She coached us up, and we need to execute the game plan. Our goal is to remain owners of the Bears. My brother Pat says until the second coming. I say another 100 years, either of those would be great. But we've got to stick together. That's the important thing.
George, there was a report that the McCaskey family and the Ryan family split the 2% from Andrew McKenna. Are you able to offer some clarity and details into that?
No, we consider those matters to be private. The important thing, as far as we're concerned, the thing that Bears fans might have on their minds, might be concerned about, is that the Halas McCaskey family was, is, and will remain what the NFL calls the controlling owner of the team.
George, do you have an update to the board situation with another seat and what will be done with that?
We added my favorite nephew, Edward Lawrence McCaskey, to the board. He's filling Virginia's vacancy, and I told him, you got big shoes to fill, kid. He's been fantastic so far. He's bright, he's articulate, he asks great questions, he's eager to learn, and it's exciting to have the next generation of our family on the board.
When you talked about this in April at the owners' meetings, you talked about the responsibility you had personally. What is the weight of that like now that it's kind of a day in, day out thing?
I wouldn't say that there's a weight of that responsibility. I'm mindful of the responsibility, but the family's been great, very supportive, and I consider myself to be a servant of them as owners of the team.
George, the Tuesday practice that I'm sure you've heard so much about, everybody reacting to how physical it was. Did that remind you of a different time here, of different coaching staffs like decades ago?
Well, it reminded me of the good old days of two-a-days, but you saw it getting a little chippy today with a joint practice. The guys are getting physical. I think that's an indication of how hard they're working. I think it's also an indication of how hot it is and how humid it is. But no big blow-ups, so positive results.
Year one with Ben, year two with Caleb, just how are you feeling about the team, the football side of things?
Everyone's very hopeful. Everyone's very excited. Talking to the fans, coming into practices. We're in the honeymoon period. We're undefeated. So I think people are very excited that we got the guy that they wanted us to get. But now we need to take care of business.
When you see him on the playing field, when you see Ben on the playing field, how does his personality come out? We talked to you kind of before practices got started on how you saw it just in the office, but when you're watching practice, what grabs you about your head coach?
Yeah, you're seeing it. He's intense. He's demanding. He's committed. He's intelligent. And as Kevin said, you can see the respect that the players have for him. They know he knows ball, and they know that he can make them better.
Players have talked about the culture shift that they've experienced here since he was hired. How have you noticed that culture shift?
I wouldn't say a shift. When you're successful, they say you have great culture. And when you're struggling, they say, well, there must be a problem with the culture. He's an agent of change, that's for sure. And we're looking for positive results from it.
George, what was the significance for you to be able to extend Ryan Poles' contract?
As Kevin said, it shows our faith in him. Ryan would be the first person to tell you we don't have the results yet, but you can see him putting the building blocks together. His staff is strong. His leadership is sound. He's a great listener. He's a great leader. And we think he's a great talent evaluator. And we think that his partnership with Ben is going to bring Bears fans the winner they deserve.
How emotional is it going to be on Sunday, you and the family not having Virginia there to be in the booth with you?
It'll be an adjustment. Sunday and next Sunday will help. Because I think September 8th, it'll be difficult. But again, she showed us the way. Her leadership, her guidance, her direction have been invaluable. And we're all the beneficiaries of it.